This is the G100 electric bike, and it has dual batteries and a peak power output of 2,000 watts. MSRP on this one is $2,300, but it is on a significant discount, and I do have a discount link below this video in the description box. But do not buy the HappyRun G100 e-bike just yet. We gotta crack this thing open, take a closer look at it, run it out on the 18-mile tail happy circuit, test the acceleration, test the top speed, test the brakes, see if it can climb hills. We gotta test it all and see whether or not it's worth the money. Da-da-da-da. Wow. So we got one lithium tank down here. Where's the other one? And a pretty cool looking gum wall 20 by 4-inch tire with color matched wheels. This is the orange color, but they do have one other color linked below this video in the description box. Please don't fall. And this e-bike, oh my goodness, is running knobby tread tires. Oh man, we got to put the brake rotors on ourselves. Wonder what they're going to be. Comes with a giant headlight. There we go. Let's take a look at this battery. HappyRun. Battery weighs in at exactly 12.0. And this is battery 1 of 2, runs on 48 volts, charged to max is 54.6, 20 amp hours, 960 watt hours of energy in this battery. I don't know about you guys, but I'm digging the color. So what about the other battery? Check it out. Battery number 2 is mounted down here. 2 separate keys. We get the key of top battery and the key of the button battery. Let's try the button battery. Drop that on out. Oop, better pull the key out. Bottom battery is also branded HappyRun. Get a little switch on this one. Weighs in at 9.8 pounds. So between the two, we should have some huge range relative to most bikes. And bottom battery is a 48 volt, 18 amp hour battery pack with 864 watt hours of energy. One part that's nice about dual batteries is you don't have to bring both of them. So if you're going for a shorter ride, you could keep the weight down by bringing one. And speaking of trips, looks like there will be a little storage area down here if you want to bring some stuff with you. Decently spacious down there. Battery charger is a 2 amp charger. I wonder if they have 2 chargers. If so, it'd probably be right in here. Brake rotor. Oh, there is a second charger. Sweet. So we actually get a pair of 2 amp chargers. Nice. Manual. Turn signals. Folding pedals. Interesting choice. Little cable lock. Probably wouldn't rely on this one. And a digital key. Nice. That was an unexpected surprise. And an extra top battery and button battery key. Tools. This e-bike is actually running a gold chain. There's a guard on both sides of the chain ring to help keep that chain from falling off. Your basic 7-speed Shimano gear set. Derailleur comes installed, Shimano shifter, and it is a full suspension electric bike. Dual coil shocks on the rear. See the other one over there. Suspension on the front is on a dual crown fork that give us a fender with a carbon fiber look. Is this actually carbon fiber? I don't know. Front suspension is our typical. This one says G100 on the side. We do get a compression adjustment on the right stanchion, preload on the left. Actually, I just realized this is not for the front wheel. I think this is for the back. Front fender is plastic. Handlebars have a nice rise to them. What we working with here? Ergonomic grip, twist throttle, probably a start button. 7-speed Shimano shifter, DY Island hydraulic brakes. Oh, careful, careful. Nothing separating those hydraulic brake pads. Don't want to have to do a brake bleed. Surprise, surprise. What kind of display is it going to be? Okay, we'll fire it up in a minute. Other side over here has some signals, horn, and light. Wonder what the horn's going to sound like. One other thing about the handlebars, they do kind of curve back a little bit, makes it for an easy reach. And my goodness, look at this seat. This thing is wide. It is a little bit firm, but we do have that rear suspension. I'm curious to see how it's going to feel. Always love me a wide seat though. The responsible way to put brake rotors on. 160s. Think of this, my calling. To be on a NASCAR pit crew. Probably not. Check it out. For the rear, we get signals and a brake light. Front wheel bolts on. Push to start. So this is the rear bumper. If you wanted to put it on, this guy just goes on here. There's a bolt back there. Goes something like this. I'm gonna leave it off. I think it just looks better like this. Plus it's done raining for the year anyway. Same goes with the front fender. I think I'm just gonna leave this off as well. I think it looks better plain. Rear signals and light goes here. So let's go ahead and pop that battery on there. Put one battery on there for now. Give me a click. There we go. So let's take a look at this screen. But check this out. No key. Push to start. So it does have a digital key, NFC unlock after you hold the push to start button. NFC NFC, boom. So this is a relatively unique display. We get our battery in terms of bars right there on the right. Tab the S button here. It will toggle through your 5 levels of pedal assist. There's a bit of a delay there. On the right, you get your headlight, indicates your headlight on the front. Pretty bright headlight. Looks pretty sweet up front like a motorcycle. And there are signals on the front. You turn them on and off like this, and there's actually a sound. So you'll know your signal's on and you'll see it flashing there. And around back, you'll see your signals light up here. You can actually turn them both on at the same time, let everybody know you're a hazard. And you get a light on the rear as well as a brake light that illuminates when you pull the brake lever, and a little license plate down there. There's a light that shines down on if you actually want to put a license plate on there. What do the horns sound like? Chill. What's it beeping for, bro? It says E1 on the display. So to give you an idea of the size of this bike, I am 6'5", inseam 34, hopping aboard. I need to get some air in those tires. Black and yellow, black and yellow. I don't know why this thing's so mad at me, but it just keeps saying E1 and beeping. And hopping aboard this bike, here's what I look like on it. So rear suspension, feeling all right. Full suspension moped style e-bikes are the best kind of moped style e-bikes. This one looks pretty sweet. What do you guys think? Seat is wide, a little bit firm. We'll see how it feels while riding it. I definitely like that it's wide. This thing feels like a freaking motorcycle sitting on it. Like, I have like a gas tank up here. I got a lithium tank up here. So here's what my pedal stroke would look like with a 34 inseam riding this thing. Will not be pedaling this bike. It's a motorcycle. Motor, cycle, motor, cycle. Back brake is bicycle setup, however, meaning back brake is on the right. Suspension's feeling fun. So down under the seat here, there's actually a toggle switch that goes from battery 1 to this middle button to battery number 2. So there's 3 states there on this switch, and I think that you can run it on battery 1 or battery 2. I don't know if the middle one will run on both or not. And here is a quick peek at the hub motor on the rear of this bike. They say 2,000 watt peak, 1,000 nominal. There's the numbers. Quick peek at the brakes. They are DY Island 160 millimeter. Hello, buddy. And of course, the same exact DY Island 160 millimeter rotors on the rear. Actually, let's see what's going on with this E1 code. So it's locked. When I turn it on, push button start, unlock with NFC. It says E1. Got my flashlight out here. I think I found the culprit. And sad to say, I think it was my fault. This wire here, when I put the kickstand on, it was back here. Behind the kickstand, and I just screwed these in, and it just kind of pinched this wire and ripped this yellow one out. Makes my life easier. Go figure. Inside the black casing, the yellow wire, the black and yellow theme is still going strong. All right, dudes, let's check out the HappyRun G100. We'll bring the manual because it is in kilometers per hour. Maybe we can switch it over to miles, but I'm not sure we will, so we'll run my miles per hour speedometer here. And of course, we'll track our official range on my Strava app on these dual batteries. So with no load at all, it will take us up to what it says 60 kilometers per hour. Alexa, what's 60 kilometers an hour in miles per hour?
37 miles.
37 mpHs. Let's go try it. So I do believe that this thing does run on one battery at a time. This little switch down here, if you put it in the middle, it'll just turn off and it won't turn back on. So you have to select either one battery or the other. We're gonna run it on the big battery to start. So we do get that big old headlight, and it is pretty bright. Check it out. And of course the turn signals, you can kind of see them operating there. A little sound indication as well. So let's go ahead and give the HappyRun G100 a rip up the 20% grade, see how it does. I weigh 200 pounds, pedal assist 5. We're not gonna pedal at all, throttle only, ready, go. What kind of torque we working with on the G100? So it says 14 kilometers an hour, 12 kilometers an hour, convert that to mpHs, but no pedaling at all. So plenty of torque to conquer a hill without pedaling whatsoever. So let's try the power modes. On gear 0 here, we'll give you no power, obviously, you know, no throttle, no pedal assistance, no nothing. And this thing feels like a freaking motorcycle to be on. It says I'm going about 2 kilometers an hour there. Not really the kind of bike I'd like to pedal on pedal assist 0 or probably even pedal assist 5, but let's go ahead and try number 1 here by tapping that green button and boom, hit us with a little bit of power there. It is a cadence sensor. Gives us a pretty gentle power delivery, taking us up to 11 kilometers an hour, which is 7 miles per hour. Now this display is kind of unique and cool. I actually like that it's a little bit different than the typical displays we see. And throttle will also take us up to pedal assist 1 speeds. So you can really dial this thing down and chill if you want. That's not what we're gonna do today. Let's try pedal assist 2 and a little bit of about a second lag on that cadence sensor to kick in here, and that'll get us moving on up to, we're on gear number 6 now. Gear number 7, 12 miles an hour, 20 kilometers an hour. That'll probably be about the last pedaling I do today, so we'll test out the range of these dual batteries. Running on the big boy here to start, the top battery, the beautiful battery. So I am noticing, despite how unique this display is, it is a little bit difficult to read out here on a bright day in Southern California. I'm gonna throw on my polarized lens and see how that shakes things up. Doesn't make it much better. I could barely see it without my glasses. Still don't really see much going on there with my glasses. So pedal assist 3 is actually still pretty gentle power delivery, taking us up to 18 mph. And entering our first turn on the G100, boy, does this thing feel like an electric motorbike. You can tell it's got a little bit of weight to it, and that weight is high up. Feels like a motorcycle, kind of. Pedal assist 4, ready to go. Let's see what it does here. So a little bit of lag before it starts delivering that power. There is no power readout on here, so we don't really know what's going on there besides the dyno built into our bottom side. And it looks like it'll take us up to about right around 24, 25, maybe 26, but we're gonna get on those 160 millimeter hydraulic rotors going into this turn. And since they are 160 millimeter rotors on DY Island hydraulic brakes, you can tell, well, they're not quite bedded in yet. They work, not the strongest stopping power I've ever felt on an e-bike. Oh yeah. Mostly I'd have to say the style of this e-bike, man. That black and yellow really pops. And then they have that like 4th of July looking, all-American looking color on this e-bike as well. So I mean, if you want something with style, man, this thing sticks out. I've already got 2 compliments on this thing already off camera rolling out of my neighborhood. And we are rolling on full suspension, so let's try it riding along here, just off the sidewalk a bit. It actually feels pretty plush with those dual coil shocks on the rear, with the air shock on the front with adjustable suspension. This really isn't bad at all for a moped style e-bike. Let's pop out here in traffic though, crank this thing on to pedal assist 5. Not pedal at all. Is that pedal assist 5? Yeah, 5. But let's see what we can get this thing up to. Showed 52 kilometers an hour, 29 miles an hour into headwind. We'll try it in a tailwind here in a few, but we'll flip on a blinker for now because we got him on here. And I can barely hear it over the wind noise there, dinging. Oh yeah, man, this thing's pretty fun. Bro, check this out. Here's a legit motorcycle here on the bike pad. Oh my goodness. So let's go ahead and do a 0 to 20 acceleration run. GPS will lag a little bit. 32 kilometers an hour is 20 miles an hour. Let's see if we can see it come up there. Ready to go. 20. 30 kilometers, 32 kilometers an hour. So decently quick acceleration, pretty standard. You know, it's not like throwing me off the back or anything, but you know, for most people trying to cruise around in style, I think it'll tick the box for you. Again, I think style is gonna be the big one on this. So being that it doesn't, you know, launch us with huge power, we'll probably get some pretty good range out of these batteries, considering we're only running on one. So one advantage of running the dual battery setup where you're only running on one at a time, when one starts to lose some juice, you can just flip it over to the other and be just like you're back on a full charge again. And despite that seat being hard, I really do like that the seat is wide and it is on those dual coil shocks on the rear. So this is actually a pretty comfortable setup, man. I like the seating position and the comfort of this bike so far. So let's whip this thing around and with a little bit of tailwind, see what kind of top speed we can hit. So hard to see that display, man. We are catching up to the Ranger. We'll just have to go by this. 28, 29 on GPS. Holding 30 on GPS, hit 30 on GPS, cruising 30 GPS, 31 on GPS, and it is still pulling, it's not backing off. I think 32 on the GPS, so we are still gaining speed just a little bit. We're gonna have to take a left here or something. 32, I think that's pretty much going to be it for a 200-pound dude. So it does say this as a 1,000/2000 watt motor on this bike. The motor might be rated for 2,000 watts, but my bottom side dyno is telling me that's not 2,000 watts of power. If it was, I think, you know, we'd be hitting higher than 32 miles per hour. Just keeping it real, bro. It's a cool looking bike, but this is not 2 kilowatts. So of course we'll get out there and try it on the flat sand in a moment. But first let's run it up this sand, uphill and throttle and see how the suspension feels, see if it can power us up. Oh yeah, dude, we got this. Fairly powerful bike and rear suspension. Let's feel the suspension out. So decently plush. Not the most amazing suspension I've ever felt for off-roading, but not bad. The seat I could feel is a little bit hard, kind of bouncing going over that stuff. I'd say you could do some light trail riding on this thing. Probably wouldn't push it too hard though. So just out of curiosity here, I'm gonna try and flip this battery over while riding. We have lost a little bit of voltage on the first one, so let's just see what happens here. Flip. We gotta get out the key card. So push button start. NFC start, and we're still on 5. Can't really tell any difference in the pep, but we are on the second battery now. Full throttle, we are on pedal assist 5. I'm bumping down a few gears because I have a feeling we're gonna need to pedal this thing a little bit out here. Let's go for it, baby. So full throttle, we are making some progress here, getting through the sand. Throttle only, not pedaling at all. Actually, this is surprising me. I didn't think we would really make it out here this far, but we are cranking along just fine. And we'll go on down here and the hard pack sand a little bit here, going down the hill. So we are on the 20-inch tall, 4-inch wide Navi tread tires. Navi tread helps us get more traction down here. Shorter tires makes it a little bit more difficult for crawling through the sand, but we're doing just fine here. And gaining a little bit of speed, 14 miles an hour on the hard stuff. Let's go on up here, make it up this hill. Whoa, about lost it there. And full power, full throttle. And it's kind of coming to a crawl here and stopping out on us. So pretty strong e-bike. I wouldn't call this a 2 kilowatt motor though. Thing is, it could be a 2 kilowatt motor, but maybe the amperage of the controller isn't high enough to actually send 2 kilowatts, or maybe the battery discharge rate isn't quite enough to discharge actually the amount of power and run it through that controller to the battery. There's always a bottleneck in your power somewhere. Sometimes it's the motor, sometimes it's the controller, sometimes it's the battery cells. Not sure where it is here, but this thing does look pretty sweet. What? Hold on just 1 second. I'll come over there in a minute. They're saying it's a sick bike. All right, they're saying it's a sweet bike. Let's go say what's happening. My bad, I couldn't hear you from over there. You're good, dude. This yeah. I'm just doing a little review on it. It's
nice. What's the brand?
HappyRun. It's like
how fast does it go?
So, yeah.
That's cool, man.
They think it's sweet. So after that beach run, we're gonna go ahead and flip back over to the original battery. There's only 1 mile on the lower battery, just so we can get a realistic range readout. We'll basically just do this entire review on 1 battery, and then you'll be able to basically double your range from whatever we see here today. So we have just a couple more tests left, California incline, then we'll test the brakes, then we'll check the final range. All right, let's do it. So this thing does have a little bit of weight and mounted high rolling into the loop-de-loops. So let's see how balanced it is. Actually not bad at all. So I am full throttle on this thing, not pedaling it. We're making it right on up the loop-de-loop-de-loop-de. Well, we're gonna actually have to let off here. And just gunning it from a whacking momentum there. We are pulling right on up, 8 miles an hour. From the bottom of the California incline, full throttle. Man, I just cannot read this thing at all in this bright California sunlight. 9 miles an hour on the GPS. 15, 16, 17, 18. And the HappyRun G100 is gonna top us out at about 18 miles an hour at the top of the California incline. No pedaling, 200-pound dude. So we do have a pretty big weight on this bike with the dual batteries. Let's try these 160 millimeter DY Island hydraulic brakes at the bottom. We are hitting 31 going down, 32 going down, 33 going down. Woo! We might hit 34, yeah, 34. Woo! We do have linear stopping power on these hydraulic disc brakes. The 160mm rotors are not the most powerful I've ever felt on an electric bike, but they do have pretty good stopping power, especially on a shorter 20-inch wheel. Generally, like the shorter wheels, they don't need quite as big of a rotor. I'd say these are fine. Not excellent, they're fine. Now, of course, probably most people aren't going to be flooring it down a hill towards a brick wall at 34 miles an hour. So let's say you don't have a screw loose and you're cruising at about a chill 20 miles an hour. And from about 20, if you slam on your brakes, yeah, you'll be fine. Just don't do anything too crazy. Whoa, buddy. I hit that vision. Right, dudes, we're about to head on home, check the final range. But first, let me share my final thoughts on the G100 from HappyRun. So overall, I'd have to say the #1 most distinct thing about this bike is definitely by far the style. If you're looking for a stylish e-bike, this thing definitely draws a lot of attention and it just feels cool to be on. In terms of performance, I'd say, you know, it's pretty average. Not that it's bad, it's just not excellent. Just kind of like middle of the road. Pretty fast, pretty powerful. It'll get you cruising along. It can hold 20s, mid-20s, no problem. And then you do have that dual battery option, which should help us get some pretty significant range. And since it only runs on one battery at a time, it's kind of nice. You can just flip it over to the other one at any point and you'll be like you're on a fresh charge. Now, of course, there's a little bit of a weight penalty carrying around a second battery, but the nice part about dual battery is you don't have to always bring both batteries. All around, not a bad electric bike at all. If you do want to grab one, I do have a discount code below this video in the description box. If you did buy through that link, of course, it would help support my reviews here on Tell Happy TV, and I greatly appreciate your support. And of course, it helped get you the best price on this e-bike as well. But let's head on home, check the final range. Oh, I can actually read the display now that it's in a shadow here. It says 32. What? We're on miles per hour now. How do we get on miles per hour? So just rolling into the neighborhood here, let's check the range. So we've been out here for an hour, 25 minutes, average speed 12.45 miles an hour, and crossing over 17.75 miles. Battery #1 of 2 is showing 3 out of 4 bars. So I'd say, you know, that's pretty typical that I burned through about a half of a 48 volt, 20 amp hour battery pack on a ride like this. And then we pretty much haven't even tapped into this one down here. What up? What do you guys think of this one?
Yo, that looks like a super. What is it called?
It's called the HappyRun, out on a little HappyRun here today.
It's fire. Can you wheel it?
Nah. It's got dual batteries and they're both up here, so it's kind of heavy up front. And yeah.
It's powerful.
Yeah. Yeah, not as powerful as that.
Yeah.
What are you guys up to?
Just riding around.
Causing trouble?
Yep.
Popping wheelies?
Yeah.
Right on. So the good part about 2 batteries is we could obviously just switch that on over. As you can see, we are on 3 out of 5. Flip that little switch down here and fresh charge, man, 5 out of 5. So, you know, range is always subjective, but fresh battery here is starting out. It really just depends on how hard you push it, man. I don't know what they list as the official range for this thing, but, you know, I could see it getting, man, let's just say 50 to 80, 50 to 70. I mean, technically, you could just pedal this thing on pedal assist 1, probably do 100, going 5 miles an hour. Anyway, bike looks pretty cool, should get some pretty good range out of it, and the power is not bad at all. If you want to grab one, buy through the link down in the description box, use my coupon code, it'll get you the best price and also help support my reviews, and I greatly appreciate your support. But you know the drill, if this is not the bike for you, go ahead, watch this video next. Catch you over there.